Welcome to Southern Sisters, where real talk meets rooted faith. We're your hosts, Megan, Lindsay, Courtney, and Evie, bringing sisterhood, laughter, and a whole lot of grace to the everyday chaos. Welcome to our episode of Southern Sisters. We are so glad you're here. Today, we are going to talk about something that is not awesome. Okay? We are back talking about the hustle of life, and how we can escape being held hostage by that. But before we do, we have a review that we want to share with you because we love everyone that is listening to this. Thank you so much for your time. We know what it is to give time to a podcast or an audiobook or, you know, to have you sharing this time with us means everything. So thank you so much for being here. This review spotlight says, I only had brothers growing up, and I've always wished I had a sister. This podcast feels like the next best thing. Southern Sisters is warm, funny, honest, and so real. Listening feels like sitting in a room with friends, swapping stories about life, motherhood, and everything in between. They're not afraid to be vulnerable, and I always walk away feeling understood and encouraged. It's one of my favorite listens each week.
Who said that one?
Thank you so much, Midwest Disney Mom. We love you too.
That's one of your people, I'm sure. I love it. I love it.
We are so grateful. Okay, so
I loved hearing that at the beginning. It
You're
just
an
makes
honorary
it feel
sister.
like we're reminded why we're doing this.
Yeah.
You know, it's so cool.
we have many Southern
helpful to us,
sisters.
too.
The sisterhood is real. It is a big deal. Speaking of, guys, we have a website, the Southern Sisterhood.
Get it.
We do. So if you would like to check out more, we are going to have a blog post on there weekly. That is a place where you can leave your email for our monthly email newsletters that we're creating. There is a lot of fun stuff going on. So
cool.
It will be in the show notes. But if you go to the Southern Sisterhood, you will see everything about us. And it's really exciting. Okay, so our icebreaker question for today is, what is one thing in your home that always mysteriously disappears?
My husband. When it's time to clean the house. Guess what? He's outside fishing.
I'm not going to lie. I did say to one of my children the other day, I was like, you only get to have a 30-minute poo if you pay the mortgage. Like, you don't get to disappear and hide. This is not young dads in training.
Wait,
Don't
I
do
love
it.
that rule. You only get a 30-minute poo if you pay the mortgage.
Just wait till Father's Day.
Oh, yeah.
No, we love
Can you
our
tell I didn't
husbands.
prepare for this question?
No, I got an easy one.
that came to mind.
Yeah, that was a good one. We love you. Mine is always the remote and my chargers. Yeah, y'all know what I mean. Chargers for everything. I'm like, why does your input match my charger? You drive me nuts. And then they ruin them so fast.
So annoying.
It's great.
Suck on them.
Yeah, totally. Try to put them in sockets. That was literally our day today.
Oh my gosh.
Our teller tried to
sounds about right.
stick it in a thing, and I was like,
Time to get covers.
Yep.
Thank goodness. I was just saying because I had an experience with Brody a couple of weeks ago with sockets and saw sparks and
Oh
that
my
was scary.
gosh.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
What do you lose at your house?
For us, it's spoons. I don't know why. I don't know if my kids are throwing them away or what. There has been a few times where like we didn't know a spoon was in the garbage disposal and then like
Oh, yeah.
you turn it on, you have to throw it away now.
Yeah.
But if you look at our utensil drawer and you see like knives, like plentiful, forks, plentiful, spoons, there's like 4. And we don't know
For
why.
each of you.
Sounds like a lunchbox issue. Like Jade's taking them to school.
No, like everything that I pack her doesn't usually
Have a spoon.
require a spoon. And we have like separate spoons for
But maybe
the
she
kids.
fancy and she wants to
we
eat her
don't
thing.
know. This is what I think it is. I think it's when Josh has taken them to work
100%.
Oh yeah.
and they
Sounds like
just
a Josh
don't come
thing.
back.
Just kidding. We love you,
Blame
Josh.
it on you, Josh. I'm just kidding.
You need to invest in one of those boxes of plastic cutlery from Costco and do that.
They're huge.
No, wait. I just remembered too.
And cheap.
We at one point, one of our kids, like when they would throw their paper plate away, they were also throwing away like whatever
silverware.
utensil.
A real
yes.
Here's the
So
rule.
that's also
Here's
it.
the rule we have at our house. If we're eating at the dining room table, we can have all that. If you are taking a snack somewhere, if it's outside, upstairs, whatever, and you need utensils, it always has to be paper so you can throw it right away. I was getting sick of like spoons and cups and stuff upstairs. It drove me nuts. So make it all plastic, just chunk it all, and then you don't have to bring stuff anywhere.
Mine is scissors.
Scissors, yeah.
I never have them. In fact, Santa Claus last year brought me like 5 pairs of scissors in my stocking. They're still all gone. Like, they're all gone. It's May.
Sense. Crafts, man.
Crazy.
Your kids are some crafty kids.
I just want to be able to cut open an Amazon package.
I'm gonna get you a box slicer next time. You should do
frustrating.
that. Do that instead of the scissors, the box slicers. They won't take them. They'll be like, well, I don't even know what this is.
No, so
Scissors and Band-Aids.
we're moving next Friday, and I told Josh, I was like, think about all the stuff we're gonna find. Like,
When you get rid
In the process of moving.
yeah.
Moving the couch, moving the
other
bed,
shoe
moving
from
the
some
Beds,
kid.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's
Stuff in the
crazy.
closet.
man.
All right, y'all have avoided it enough. Let's get into it.
Okay, well, actually, before we get into the hustle, we actually have another new segment we're doing, which is Evie's Pop Culture Corner.
Evie's
Okay,
Pop Culture Corner.
You're going to have to do that every single time.
It has a little song.
Needs a jingle.
All right, so Evie, what are you noticing in pop culture that we need to sound off on? True or false? Like, how do we feel about this?
So one thing that I feel like I've been noticing lately, and like even in the past couple of months, even last year, is this narrative about moms and women that we are not happy and that we're oppressed, that we can't do it all, that we can't have kids and travel, we can't have kids and work, we can't have kids and reach our dreams.
So kids are holding us back?
Yes,
From partying and living our best life.
exactly.
Yeah. Experiencing the world.
Yeah. So I wanted to share one clip that I came across on TikTok specifically, and it was from this singer, Chapel Roan. She's a talented singer. She was on a podcast, and the host asked her if she ever, wants to be a mom, and this was her reply. She said, and by the way, she's 27. She said, all of my friends who have kids are in heck. She continued, I don't know anyone. I actually don't know anyone who is happy and has children at this age. Like a 1-year-old, like 3-year-old, 4 and under, 5 and under. I literally have not met anyone who is happy. Anyone who has like light in their eyes. Anyone who has slept.
Wow.
Oh, that's sad.
I think we need to meet her.
She's hanging out with the wrong people. So what do you think about that, Evie?
So one thing that I thought was really cool that came from that was women were making it a trend, and they were using the clip, like the sound from that clip, and they were putting videos of them with their children
that's
being
cool.
happy.
Yes.
And I loved that.
I love that.
Women unite. That's
Yes.
awesome.
But I think as somebody who was a young mom myself, like I had my first kid at 22, I don't think there's any truth to that. Like, yes, it's hard. You don't get a lot of sleep, but it's like we were saying, it's a season. You will get sleep again. And as a mom, like, it's the hardest thing that I've ever done, but it's also the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. And it's a different kind of love than any type of love I've ever experienced. A different type of love from the way that I love my husband, from the way that I love other family members. Like, it's just something that you have to experience.
As you were sitting here talking, I just remember thinking, like, I just thought, thinking about you as a first time mom at 22 and how our like infertility stuff has happened. If I compare those journeys, like my first kid and Caleb, like how old and crusty I feel right now. Like had I been able to just have them all like when I was younger and I had more energy, like that is when you're like have everything you need physically to be able to do such a better job. And I just think, oh man, I wish I had had all my kids when I was younger, and who I am now is like, it's so hard to keep up. It's exhausting.
Yeah. And I also think not everybody is meant to be a young mom. Like, not everyone has the same path in life. If you feel like you get married and you just want to enjoy being with your husband for a couple of years and travel, I feel like that's fine. Like, not everybody has to live their life the same way.
Right.
And I also feel like the three of you are perfect examples of this not being true, that you have kids and you can't travel, that you have kids and you can't have a business, and that you can't reach your goals and your dreams.
I agree.
Evie.
Thank you, Evie. That was Thank you. Sweet. I was just thinking about when you shared this yesterday. And so today was like, I went out of town earlier this week and then to spend time with a client and friend. And then the middle of the week was like, okay, I got to work and catch up, on stuff that I missed the 2 days. And then today was like the day to spend time with the kids. Right. And so yesterday you're talking about moms that aren't happy. And today I'm spending all day with my kids. And there were some moments that were like, everybody's screaming. Literally everyone is screaming.
Yeah.
All three of the girls. And I'm just like, am I happy?
Is this what happiness looks like?
I was like, wait, I said I was happy, right? Like, this is great, right? This is awesome. I'm fine. It's fine. But like, I feel like there are moments where you definitely feel like things are crazy town.
Yeah. It's not happy all the time.
But it's like, the underlying, that's the difference between joy and like temporary happiness for me is like the joy that comes from, like, I literally told Jared after, whenever the children were all sleeping today, whenever they went down for their naps, I was like, Jared, I am so happy. Like, I love our life. It's so beautiful. And I'm so grateful for that. And just to stop and look at it and just be like, there are moments of crazy, but that doesn't have to mean that you're not happy with what your life looks like,
Yeah.
So
Also, there's joy that comes from having to be selfless.
Yes.
That
Service,
you
yes.
can't explain until you've experienced that. Like, yeah, it's great. It's great to travel the world and do all these really cool things and do whatever you want to do. But when you put somebody's needs ahead of yours, it changes you. And it brings you true joy rather than just the fleeting happiness that you sort of have to like catch the next thing. It's like, what am I doing this? What am I? It's what it always is. It's truly feeling those moments of joy where you stop and you're like, okay, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
I think we've forgotten what sacrifice looks like. Right?
Yeah.
Because we
In a
live in
world-
such an entitled, like,
get
easy
Get it
world.
now.
Yeah.
Convenience is key,
Immediate gratification.
If it's not convenient, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
I was talking with a friend today, and we were talking about kids because she just had a baby this week. And she was saying, you really do put your life on hold. And I was like, I mean, kind of. I don't feel like that. I did that,
Maybe
though.
right at the beginning. Like, but if, I don't know, at the beginning you do a tiny bit because you can't help but take care of this thing around the clock.
I
Right.
love it. I love that time. It is so sweet in the home.
Yeah.
When there's a new baby and all the world stops.
So this is a great segue into talking about the hustle and how when you have a newborn baby, everything goes on pause. And we love that. So what makes us amp back up, and what actually are the areas of our life where we see the hustle most?
I feel like what makes you amp back up is people's expectations of you. Like, oh, I can't take time because people are going to, or I need to do, or they're going to judge me if that is for me.
Too many responsibilities.
Yeah.
Like, you just have too many things that you are needed for. So those force you to show up.
Totally. Try another kid. That's it.
Right?
You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. That second one's a little bit harder. First one, you can sleep while the baby's sleeping and do all the things, but that's what creates the hustle is people needing you.
Okay, so here's a question. When was the last time you truly felt rested and present? I'll go first. 2016. For reference, check out episode the last one.
Episode the last one.
I mean, rested and present?
Rested and present.
Are those together?
Yeah.
I don't know. Together?
One or the other?
I feel like I
Choose
thrive.
your own adventure.
I don't feel very, very rested all the
She
time.
goes down this path. It's gonna say.
Okay. I feel like I'm really good at being present. Rested might be another story, but I feel like being present is so important. I was talking to my agents about this week because we were talking, Kim and I, we took our husbands on this trip to go to Epic Universe, which was so much fun. We got to see the new park opening at Universal, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. It was epic. Anyways, so we were talking, and I just decided, and I was telling Kim, she's like, okay, you post stories, I'll record footage, and we were like breaking everything up, and I told Kim, I'm like, hey, how about we don't post a single thing while we're here? And she's like, what? And I just said, like, I want to be present. I want to have fun. I want to see all the things and record all the things that we can post later. But I don't want to also then get back to the room or be having lunch with our husbands, which we never get time. Adam and I never get time together. And I'm like putting stuff on social media. I'm like, I'm not doing that. It's already busy and crazy enough. So I think it's important to give yourself permission to not like post all the things in the moment and to just be in the moment and enjoy the moment, but you can still take the videos and capture all of that. It's not the same thing.
From someone who religiously follows things whenever you're out of town, I do not support this message.
True story.
But I do support you in your need to set boundaries.
Totally. Well, yeah. And I do that too. I'm like, when I found out, like when I go somewhere without my kids and I was posting stuff, I remember asking the kids because they were like, you didn't post any stories. We watch your stories at night. And then they did that one time. And then the next time I'm like, did you see all the stories? No, we didn't get to it. And I was like, I'm not doing it then. If my kids aren't even watching, I'll show them all later. Mm-hmm. And so it makes such a big difference to just be in the moment, be present, give everyone who is in front of you your full attention as much as possible, because I fell into a trap of like doom scrolling. And I realized that when my kids would ask me something and I was like checking out mentally as a mom, just because I needed a minute, like I was overstimulated or whatever the case may be, and I needed a second, those are the times that I was like, what? Mm-hmm. What do you need? Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. So I've just, it's important to reflect on that stuff. But I try to be present as much as possible.
The hustle will ask for everything, but only you get to decide what you give it.
I was thinking about this and I thought about how my life has been the last 10 years. Go, 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 and reach, 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 and hit, 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 and, just crush it.
Mm-hmm. and she does.
And I've talked about my life coach before, and a lot of people have a life coach. A lot of people have a mentor or somebody that they look to help, them be held accountable for reaching goals. And like, I was just thinking about it, and that person is going to want you to reach your goals. But there came a point for me where it was like never enough for me. When I set a goal and tried to reach something, there was always one right after it. And it was like that in sales. Like whenever I was working with my sales, I'm not going to name names, but the company that I do some products for, they are just always new business. And that's how you reach your goals. And I hit the year I was pregnant, the year I had the babies, the twins, I hit every single goal that year for every single quarter, even though I had 2 babies in March. And that year was my best year ever. Ugh. So I was super excited to get some accolades, but I was at the end of the year meeting and nobody said anything. And I stood up myself at the end and I said, hey, I just want to say that I am super proud of myself for having 2 babies this year and crushing all of these goals. Right? I was the only one that did it every single quarter.
That's sad you had to do it for yourself.
In the whole region, right? And so then I was like, I'm going to go to Nashville to the conference that they have every year. And I'm going to just like get all this praise and get all, like, way to go. Like, you did awesome. Guess what happened? I had my name on a slide with like 10 other people. And that's all. And that's when I knew that this was too much. And I had babies at home waiting for me.
And it's not worth it.
And it's not worth it. So I was like, why am I doing this? And what do I have to prove to myself? Like, I have babies that need me. And so that's when I realized that I needed to refocus and reorganize what I was doing. And now, I mean, I was thinking about you saying, when's the last time you were present and rested? Today. This afternoon, I was able to spend time with my husband and felt rested, felt present, and it was a miracle because that's not how life used to be.
Good job, Courtney.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're my hero.
So there's always going to be a next thing to achieve. And I had to figure out what was the most fulfilling thing for me.
Okay, but how did you redefine productive in your daily life? Because I think that's the trap I fall into. It's like, I've got a list of things that need to get done, and this is what I must do. Like, there's always something. And
You and I had a good talk about that. Why don't you share a little of our chat this week? Let's get real, Megan. Let's let the world know.
well, you know from this podcast that I have, like, when we first talked about all this stuff I do, and I keep trying to let it go.
You keep saying you want to.
I keep saying that I want to let go certain things, but it's just not happening. But more things are being added to my plate that bring me joy, and
All the same stuff is still there.
I'm not managing it well.
Yeah. So I was talking about how at the end of the day, I knew that if I spent all day working, that I felt guilty for not spending time with my family. And that may not be how it is for everybody. They may spend all the time with their family and feel guilty they didn't get work done that day, but that's where I was. And I realized that the days that I spent most of the day with my family, and that I made that a priority, and the end of the day, I felt so good. Like, it was just a different feel on how the day went, and like reflecting on what happened. It was like, oh, I worked all day. There was not any balance with anything else. But it's almost like weird because when I spent all day with family, there wasn't any balance, but I felt fulfilled and I felt happy, so.
Well, and I think that's part of the problem is just how some of the ways that I fill my time right now just don't have me being fulfilled. They're a duty. They're something I feel like I have to do, like, because I love people.
Well, it was interesting because we were talking about it, and Megan, you're like, have told me several times, I need to stop doing this and this and this. I'm like, okay.
Waiting.
Did you stop doing those things? She's like, no. And I said, okay, which ones do you need to give up? And it was like, then you like literally argued every single thing that you had on your plate and why you needed to do it. And I said, okay, Megan, it is time. And so I'm like, what our conversation needs to be now is the thing that I figured out a few years ago of who, not how. So that's what came into my mind when we were talking about the hustle is, if you feel like for a reason and you've like prayed about it or you've thought about it and you feel like it's unavoidable what you're doing right now, then it becomes, okay, I need help. Because if I'm supposed to do these things and this is what stuck out to me is like, okay, I'm doing all these things that I feel fulfilled in, I feel like I'm supposed to do. And all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm doing great. Please don't give me more. And God is like, and this. And this. And you're running a great travel agency and you're doing all the things and you're working from home. And now I want you to do a coaching program that you didn't even have on your radar. Like, ugh. And I think right now is a great time for your family to get a puppy. Like, no, and it's not, but it was, right? So it feels like all these things that just keep happening. But what I've learned is instead of trying to figure out how you're going to do it, you need to figure out who you need to have help you. And how can I delegate some of these tasks to people? And not just that is when I was a travel agent, I was trying to grow my business and I was pregnant with Kennedy when I started. And so I was like, how am I going to manage all this? I have a new baby, all these clients. And so I just was praying about it and felt like I needed to get an assistant. And I'm like, an assistant? That's crazy. Who could this person be? And so I was praying about that and felt like this name popped into my head out of nowhere. And I didn't know her very well. And we knew of each other, but had never really talked a lot. And it ended up, she was the best thing that ever happened for my business at the time because she loved Disney and Universal and all the things that I was selling. She helped me in my email answer questions. She made it so I could have more time with my new baby. And then at that time, she had told me that she was like, I said, what are you doing lately? Just feeling her out, seeing what was going on. And she's like, well, she ended up telling me that she was trying to stay home with her daughter because she's trying to figure out a way she could do that. And then I was like, well, I have the answer. She's like, I don't need very much, blah, 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 and was telling me this stuff. So it was a blessing, not only to me so much, it was a blessing to her family and allowed her to be able to stay home and to be able to do that. And then ever since then, every time something happens, and my business grew so much. I hit $1 million in a year. I was able to do more and spend less time. Mm-hmm. And so it's happened again in my life. And I'm like, I need help. I need help because it's overwhelmed and it's taking over my life. And so a few months ago, I prayed again and was like, okay, I need help and I need somebody I trust and I need somebody that I know is good in my systems and helping with payroll and money and things like that I can trust truly. Cause I'm very protective over things like that. And so, the girl actually that works at Megan's office, she popped into my head and I was like, what? That's crazy. That's and came random. Out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, let me have a conversation. And so, Megan and I talked one night and I'm like, Megan, I have an idea. And it wasn't my idea. It was from God. I know for sure. Cause I'm like, that was a brilliant idea. That didn't come from me. But I'm like, what if, cause she doesn't need as many hours with you, but you need someone to sit at your office to answer the phones. I'm like, what if I could pay some of her hours to be able to work for me while she's sitting at your office answering phones. Would you be fine with that? And then I told Ben and Ben was like, what? So I'm like, I watched this plan come together that I didn't have anything to do with. And I'm like, she's the perfect person. She loves to do all the things that I hate. She's been a huge blessing in my life and in y'all's life. Mm-hmm. And now she's like, I get to help them do their insurance and she's about to have a baby.
Anyone that can bill insurance can do payroll.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So now she's like, I get to be able to do this and stay home with my baby. And I didn't think that was a thing that was going to happen. And so I'm like watching all these pieces fit together and I'm like, we are supposed to do the things that we're doing to bless other people's lives. Mm-hmm. And so if you are working like a dog and doing all this crazy stuff, instead of feeling like, yes, it's hard to give up control at the beginning, but what if you could bless someone else's life and it blesses yours in return? So what if you find the right person or find someone who now, like how we have Amy that helps with the kids, she literally, it's the same thing. I'm like, we need some help with our kids so I can get a few hours of work a couple days a week.
Didn't you post it on Facebook? Like you never do that?
I never do that.
You never even post anything on Facebook,
no,
much less like, hey, world, we need help with our most prized possessions.
Yes.
Our children.
Yes. Right. Because when I had prayed about it, I had the feeling that I needed to put it on Facebook. And I was like, right now, I need to put it on. It was a Sunday afternoon. I'm like, I would never do that. Okay. So I posted it online, and guess what is really funny, because we talked about it. Amy, who has been a massive blessing to our family and who just has fit in perfectly, she literally said that she was working in a job that she wanted to change or was having a hard time with it. And she said, I saw somebody on Instagram and was watching her. She had a nanny and was watching her with her kids and helping this family. And she said, I literally had the thought, you'd be really great at that. Wouldn't that be, I would love that. Wouldn't that be such a fun job for me? I would love that. And she said, I opened my phone and clicked Facebook, and your post was the first one that I saw. And I was like, what?
God is greater than the algorithm.
Right? Right? So then she texted me immediately. She was Austin's doula. So like she has been a part of our kids' lives from the beginning. And so I'm like, are you kidding me? So that has hugely blessed our life. And it's so cool to watch the people that you can bring into your life and to help your family. I could talk about a bazillions of people. Kim, how she's been a blessing when could I have done this business myself? Sure, but I needed her. And that has changed my life and my business. Erica, our agency manager, like taking a step in faith with her, she's changed our business. And so, Megan, you got to think about those people, and what's going to happen is you're going to watch your life multiply. You're going to watch your influence multiply when you're able to bring people in. And it's what's funny is like, I thought I could do everything. I was doing everything great and managing it all fine. Those people do it better than I do. And they make things better. And Kayla does things in my business better than I do. And like I'm watching these things, and my efforts are now multiplied, and I'm able to help more people in the ways that I love. And my superpower, because other people are handling the things that are their superpower.
When I was thinking about this topic, I always pick a scripture to go with everything that we do every episode. And this one was Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And I feel like that's where I'm at. Like I just feel heavy laden and I need rest. Like I feel like I'm craving rest. Yeah. But I don't know how to get there. And having that conversation was great because it allowed me to be like, you spend probably 4 or 5 hours a week editing this podcast. Now, I will always control and edit the content, but about half of that time is splicing together multiple video angles. And I'm like, you know what? I bet I could teach my really brilliant 14-year-old who loves the techie part of our podcast how to do that. Yeah. And I could pay him to help me as a job. It would be a great skill for him to learn, and I'd get almost 3 hours of my life back.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing that I felt like when I was first a travel agent, I remember being like, what could I don't feel like I can afford to pay her. The same with Kayla. Like, what could I do? This is going to stretch me. Things are tight as it is. Like, how can I pay her $10, $12 an hour to help me when I feel like I'm barely making what I want to make and not quite there yet? And it's crazy because once you make the decision, all of a sudden the money comes and it's there, and then you have even more, because it's like this leap of faith. You have to take a step into like, okay, I don't know how this is going to work. And then all of a sudden it's working way better than it was before. So it might feel like this thing that's a little bit scary, but it has changed everything. That's how you grow.
I had a thought when you were talking about your nanny in your home. I feel like I have had that season of a nanny in my home, and now I'm at the season of like I'm the person in the home, and I'm able to figure out how to train someone to do the little things at work that are really, really hard to let go of. Yeah. My assistant that I have, she was Chloe and Atticus's preschool teacher at the church that they went to for preschool. And so I knew, like, we've been around each other for years and years and years. And I'd seen her at Kroger because she was doing Instacart, grocery delivery for people. And And I'd always run into her. And then she even delivered my groceries sometimes. Like I'd see her everywhere. And then I had a couple of assistants that I just went through, and then I had one assistant at home. I had one person at the office answering phone calls and stuff. And then I realized that their personalities were like, this person is way better with kids and this person is way better with clients. So I like switched them. I was like, you need to be at the office and you need to be at home. Okay. So, and they were brilliant at everything they did. But it was really funny how whenever I prayed about who needed to help me, and I was just like, I want to find, my dad has this lady that's our cousin. That's the most amazing person. She has been at his company for however many, 30 years. I was like, I want to find my Denise.
Yeah.
I was like, I want someone who is going to be loyal and devoted, and that we're just going to make each other's lives better.
Yeah.
And because I just had these people that had come in and then wanted to do sales themselves and wanted to do their own thing. And I had that sometimes. And then I had other people that just wanted to do it for a time. Yeah. And then they went on to other things because they were doing another completely other business. And so I was like, I just want someone that I can train that will stay here longer than a year. Mm-hmm. Like I just want to invest time in these people, and they stay with me because I put so much into somebody. I feel like it's definitely personal. I don't know how to not be personal in business. So anyways, so I prayed about it and her name popped into my head, Angela. And so I called her up, and I was like, before I'd even ever called her before. And I was like, hey, so I have been really praying about who can help me in my business, and I'm struggling to do it all. And your name popped into my head. And I was like, why did it pop into my head? And she goes, because God. And I was like, what? And she's like, I have been looking for a job and I've not figured out where to find one. And I had no idea she was looking for a job because she seemed like she had 5 jobs, right? Doing preschool and Instacart, like I didn't think she had any time to do anything for me. And so she's like, I'm just so worried about reaching out for a job now and it being a scam. Like she just didn't know where to go.
Start.
Yeah. And so when I called her and she's like, God. And so every time we have like a holiday or I'm giving her some kind of present, I'm just like, because God. I'll always remember that first conversation. And so now I'm able to, she hates sales, but she's amazing at helping people. And so I've helped her realize that they can be the same thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you're pushing something on somebody that they don't need, but it can be that you're finding solutions for people, and she's
growing.
Amazing at that. Yeah. And so, I am rested and I am present with my kids because I get that help. Oh my gosh, it's changed. And sometimes people are going to fight it. Clients, they're not going to like that they can't get a hold of you 24/7.
Those are good. Those are called boundaries.
Yeah,
We all
exactly.
need them.
And you know what? If they can't understand that my kids are my most important thing in my life, then they're not.
You.
Yeah, there are other people that can help them. And that is where I've gotten to, and it's a amazing place to be mentally, where you can just be like, I'm doing what's most important for me and my family, and I also have help that is blessing other people too, and it works out, and it just everything's multiplied when you take that leap.
Isn't it crazy?
It just showers down. It's crazy because once I know I have a scary decision to make, I think we've talked about this. Once we know something really good's coming.
Yeah. If you're like, I'm terrified, I don't know if I should do this, take this big step.
Yeah. It's been amazing. So I'm grateful for the hustle that I had at one season, and that also I can appreciate where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Because I said no to things, and because I took things off my plate that were hard to give up, that I felt like were part of my identity, but they actually weren't, because I had a whole other identity that God wanted me to find that was underneath all of that surface stuff that was bogging me down.
Well, and that's your purpose. Like, that's your life's purpose, is to do the things that are fulfilling and that make you feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do. And I feel like there's a quote: every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. that's been stuck in my head for a while because I'm like, okay, if I say yes to this thing, I'm saying no to what actually I need, maybe, or what I'm meant to do or what I'm supposed to do. So I'm very protective of my yeses and nos, and now it's because that I've been through that, and it can help people, like have those people in my life that have blessed my life so much.
Right. So where do we go from here?
You got to pray for the right people. And you say, okay, here's what you do. You say, here's everything.
Right.
And you hand over your burden. And you say, here's everything that I'm thinking. Here's everything that I'm worried about. Here is everything that I'm doing in my life that I'm exhausted and I don't know where to start. Tell me where to start. And that's what you do. And then all of a sudden, a name will pop into your head. Or a solution will happen that you're like, oh my goodness.
That you didn't see before.
Yeah.
Because you were too busy hustling. You didn't stop, take a look, and figure out how to solve.
Yeah, I've had several of my agents tell me before, like, I love that you talk about in my coaching program. I talk all about like this principle, and like delegating things that you don't need to be the person. You don't need to scrub your toilets. If you feel like I do, because I hate scrubbing toilets.
I know.
I hate it. So you don't need to be the one to scrub your toilets to make an impact. Like, what is a job that you can give up? And I remember one of my agents was like, I really like that you say that you have help. So many people pretend to do it on their own, and they pretend like they've got it all together. I'm like, no, someone comes. We were just talking about this before the episode. They're cleaning my house right now, and I'm recording a podcast. Where should I be? Not at home cleaning my house. Like, I should be right here. I'm right where I'm meant to be. And someone is cleaning my house. And if I could afford it, I'd do it every week. One day, living the dream. And I'm so grateful because she's a blessing in my life. And she takes care of the things that are important to me that I can't possibly do myself.
So what are you thinking?
I think the saddest part of this journey is like, I have a beautiful life, but I'm not giving myself the space to enjoy it. Like, I'm working so hard trying to do all the things.
And it's like flying by.
It's flying by, but more than that, it's like all my relaxed time, all my rest time. Like, I just don't feel rested. I don't feel like I can take that time for myself.
And if you do, you feel guilty.
Well, yeah, like it's to the point where it's like on one hand, I'm hustle until I like shut down, read a book for half a day because like I can't, I'm paralyzed by the hustle.
Yeah, that's hard.
It is hard, and that's not healthy. Like, if on this quest for health and like getting my body back, getting my, focusing on myself a little bit now that we're starting to have kids leave, like, it's like, okay, look at yourself. How can we make this better? I feel like with my parents, they've had a lot of health struggles in the last few years. Like, it's become readily apparent to me that I need more movement in my life so that I can help avoid that in the future. So I'm like, how do I make time for these things that seem to be so good, but the list is just so long?
If you can't let go of something, you feel like you're supposed to do those things, you get help. And you ask for help.
All right. Well, I think this episode is going to have to be continued.
I can't wait to hear your journey on this.
To be continued. I did have one thought that I wanted to close on, and it says that rest is not a reward for the worthy. It's a rhythm for the willing.
Yep.
And that's what I'm going to write on my mirror to remind myself every day to make time for that and make solutions for that. And I think it's just a process. It is just a process. All right. So we didn't do this last episode because we got distracted and we were so excited to wrap everything up. But we talked a lot about the journal prompts and how we want to encourage you guys to have self-reflection moment. And then we realized that half of our team here doesn't even journal. So this is going
But we
to
do
be
reflect.
Yes. So it is
great.
going to be our journal prompt / reflection of the week. So I want you all to think about this for a minute. What am I afraid will happen if I stop hustling? Fall apart. all the plates will drop.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm that thing with the plates everywhere, the spinning plates.
That's an exhausting visual.
It is
have
an
in your
exhausting
head.
life. It's just exhaustion, and it's like rest is not earned. It's something that is you've got to be willing to do. So let's do this together, folks. All right, until next time.
Keep striving, and we'll see y'all soon.
Thanks for hanging out with us here at Southern Sisters. If you've loved today's episode, don't forget to follow us on social media for more laughs, heart-to-hearts, and behind-the-scenes real life. We'd be thrilled if you subscribed to the podcast, left us a review, and shared it with your friends, because life's always better when we're on this journey together. Until next time, keep striving, keep laughing, and keep showing up. We'll see you all back here real soon.
Beep. And then it has like outtakes.
Okay, well, we got some good stuff this time.
Oh, and I listened to like 5-year podcasts all in a row. Y'all's intro is too long. I said, what? She goes, it is. I just am like, hurry up. I want to hear what they have to say. I was like, oh my gosh, that's cute.
Should I
She
read
know
about
the intro?
Fast Forward?
Or maybe. Yeah,
because
because
just look, we could edit.
Well,
Or just make it shorter.
It's going to be episode 20.
yeah, do it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
She's
idea.
like, I just want to get to
Are
what
you
y'all are
writing
saying.
this down?
No.
well, I do that
She'll
on
remember.
podcasts too. I'm like, fast forward.
I do
fast
too.
That's
Always.
why I always, it's 30 seconds. And
But
so
if
I
they're
just
listening, right? But
Yeah, does she know
if
about
you
the fast
push it on
forward
your own podcast?
I know what I said. I've already listened to it 4 times by the time you hear it.
Well, then shorten it. Just do it. Just
I
do
know
it
what I
again.
said.
And whatever you want it to be.
Okay. I can redo it.
But I was like, you listen to 5 in a row? She goes, yeah, they're really good. You guys are doing a really good job.
Sweet.
I was like, and she goes, that embarrassing episode, hilarious. Like,
We should do another one.
and we were at the
don't have any
parks,
more.
and she went like this. I said, shut up, traumatized. It was really funny.
I love it so much.
was good.
Okay, this is going to be awesome. All right, let's jump in.
Good. Did you get it out of your?
Do you see how much we're avoiding this topic? Like we're trying, we're delaying it as much as possible.
Let's do this.
Ready.
Beep.
And you.
Yeah. Me too.
Is that what the baby does?
My toes, stupid toes that are all the way out of my shoe.
Put that there.
So much of her time.
What?
She said that my shoes show like all my toes out of the shoe. And it was the tip. It was all. Honestly, it didn't even hurt. I just wanted to be dramatic. And I knew you'd laugh at that. And I was like, my toes are all the way out. They're like all the way out of my shoe.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, it wasn't that hard, dang. But she was like, newborn baby. Yeah, that's what they do. Oh my goodness.
I am crying. Courtney, your toes. So funny.
When you shut
Okay, so what I was saying was.
Get it together.
We're not gonna be able to explain why we look like this. Why I look like this.
When it cuts.
Isn't it a beautiful time? I mean, it's just wonderful.
Magical. The wheezing. Stop wheezing.
You should put like brief intermission and do like
Right? Yesterday I saw this clip. You can watch a lot of reels, y'all. Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, this is what me and my sisters think we sound like. And it was Elsa and Anna, and they were like, chocolate, you know? And then this is what we actually sound like. And it's like a hyena.
The hyenas from The Lion King. Yes, I know that audio.
That one.
With the ugliest face ever. That's my laugh face.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, okay, sorry.